the big news out of the Supreme Court, which has been absolutely under fire for months over those revelations that Justice Clarence Thomas was secretly taking millions of dollars in gifts and trips, a lavish lifestyle, funded from a very connected Republican billionaire donor, Harlan Crow. Now, you've probably heard about the links here. This was a blockbuster story when it was first exposed by ProPublica. Now, Justice Thomas has publicly resisted calls to return the value of those gifts, let alone provide any transparency. He has basically leaned into what has been the Supreme Court's lax ethics situation. And many legal experts say he has embarrassed not only himself, but really the whole court, which demands high standards from everyone except, on ethics, its own members. So this issue jumped back into the headlines just last week, you might recall. Chairman Durbin was leading the Senate Judiciary Committee in a new push to subpoena one of the donors I just mentioned, Crow, as well as a very connected legal activist and advocate, Leonard Leo, who's actually been involved with several of the Republican appointees who now sit on the court, helping them through their nomination process. Now, the subpoenas have not dropped yet, but we actually heard from Senator Durbin about this just in the last few days.
How can we take these 9 people in the federal government and say they're going to be treated differently than anybody else? They don't have a code of ethics and nothing to report to or be held accountable for. That's just inexplicable, and it's inexcusable.
That was Senator Durbin's take on this. In fact, as you saw, we just spoke there a couple days ago. We aired that on The Beat. This is a very live legal congressional issue. Now, Durbin wants more information from the subpoena process, but also he's advocating ethics rules or a code of conduct. Well, that effort's working, because I can tell you tonight, we are reporting for the first time in all of American history, the Supreme Court has adopted and released a formal code of conduct for its justices. These are new written rules for every justice. All of them have signed on to it. It is apparently a breakthrough by Chief Justice Roberts, who was clearly concerned that the ethics scandals by Thomas and Alito were snowballing into a problem for the whole court. And there's a wider context here. This is a high court with 3 Trump justices who were part of a new bloc that overturned 50 years of precedent in Roe v. Wade. And those are justices who, of course, were appointed by a president who didn't even win more votes in 2016 through our strange electoral and political math, which I mentioned to you in our Friday broadcast. So other conservative justices have also been acting blatantly politically, from some of their rulings to their public rhetoric to the secretive political posture they have taken regarding their own grifting, billionaire-funded lifestyle. So now for the first time, the High Court is actually responding and, in a sense, deferring to some of its critics and their substantive arguments. That includes the ethics and legal leaders who have written and talked and worked on this. We've actually had some of them on this program in the lead up to all this. Nobody knew whether the court would act. It's also clearly a nod to the strategy, methodical, slow, sometimes behind the scenes, not necessarily the lead news story every night, by the Judiciary Chairman, Senator Durbin. There are also some more liberal-minded forces in Washington that have been calling for this, although most people argue that it's an issue of course, independent ethics, shouldn't be left or right. So there was enough pressure here that the Supreme Court determined they actually had to react and act. They're not forced to. They're some of the only people in all of our government who have lifetime tenure, who can literally live and eventually, peacefully die in office. That's our system. So they didn't have to do anything technically, and yet they did. So tonight, with this as our very top story, even amidst some of those other developing items I mentioned that we're starting the week, tonight we're going to get into the merits and the questions about what's in this new code in a few minutes. But before we even do that, the big headline here, and I always try to keep it direct and real with you, is the pressure worked. The public pressure on an institution that doesn't have to do anything still worked over time. Whatever difficult conversations went on between the Chief Justice and Clarence Thomas and Alito, whatever sort of mollifying and pacifying and pandering even might have had to occur to get all 9 to sign on, the Chief Justice clearly recognized that what was being said on the outside, as mentioned by independent legal experts, by people who are considered part of the reform or liberal court movement, that stuff outside, well, it mattered inside. And it is something I've told you before. We don't predict the future around here, but we know that when people keep attacking facts and journalism and the process, it's a sign that all those things still matter and work. Otherwise, they wouldn't have to bother reckoning with them at all. And I got to tell you, a big objective, factual shout out to those journalists at ProPublica who first broke this story and kept it on the front lines and now have this relatively isolated, relatively unaccountable institution, the Supreme Court, responding tonight. We are joined now, first, by NYU law professor Melissa Murray. As mentioned, we have another ethics expert on hand, professor, that we're going to get to in a few minutes on what's in the code. But first, I want to put out that larger question to you. Before we get in the code itself, what does it tell you that all of this led to the Chief Justice and the rest of the court feeling they had to respond?
I think you're exactly right, Ari. This was a situation where the heroes here are the journalists at ProPublica who really mined that vein of misconduct to bring those stories to light. Stories that the regular Supreme Court beat in legacy media did not manage to surface. So, I mean, this was a huge win for ProPublica. But I want to stress here, this code effectively codifies what has allegedly been customary for the court for some time.